Hello, my fabulous Facebookers. How are you today? Your girl Raquel here from yourspiritualrock.com, giving you the answers that you seek. And today I'm bringing you some body language secrets, some more for Women's History Month, because there are things that we do with our body language, or we can do when we're in the presence of men if we want to connect with them or if we want to send a signal to them. The beauty of body language is that we are kind of wired to understand what these things mean. So it's a way for you to convey a message when you don't want to speak, or if you're saying one thing but your body's saying another, now you're incongruent, right? You're not in unison, you're not in unity within yourself, and the message that you might be trying to say through your words are not getting through because your body's saying something different. So there are a couple things that I wanted to bring to you. One of the things I heard was, give people just 3 things because that's what they remember. But there's so many things, and I tend to give a lot of content. So just pick the top 3 things that you can run with immediately, or just even start to notice when other people use this body language. See how other people are using these things on purpose, or they're just doing it naturally. It's a fun game to do. Okay, so the first thing, women, if you want to connect with a man, don't talk to him face to face. Women speak to each other, right? Face to face. So we're like this, we like to talk this way. But when men speak, they speak side to side, right? Over here. So think about, if you remember this, the bar, right? See men at a bar. They like to sit at the bar because that way they can sit shoulder to shoulder. So when you can, maneuver yourself so that way you're actually shoulder to shoulder with the man and looking at him that way. Now this might be a little bit contrary to what you have heard, or contrary to how you like to speak to someone. But again, the one who wants to be understood and communicate is the one that has to do the work. So if you want to connect with a certain man, whether it's a recruiter, a boss, someone you're networking with, or someone that you just find attractive and you want to let him open up a bit, get into the buddy stance and get into his side. So you're shoulder to shoulder versus face to face. The same thing as well is that if you are having a heated disagreement with your beloved, or or whoever else, another male, but you want to really preserve the relationship, you want to have a really good discussion, don't get in his face. Sometimes they say, they're like, oh, my girl was all in my face. It's because you get in his face. Literally, you're getting in his face because, again, as a female, you're naturally going into this face-to-face communication because that's how we communicate. We communicate face-to-face. And so if you want to have this open dialogue, but you still want to keep him open, move into the bar stance. Move so you're shoulder to shoulder as you're having this discussion if you can. Move to the couch if you're at home. If you're sitting at a table, it's different if you're trying to negotiate. When you're negotiating, you want to have a round table, actually. If you could do a round table for negotiations, because it's that round table. It's that we're all together. No one's better than someone else. A square table actually gives you a different kind of feeling and different kind of message. But that's for another day. So if you can, round table, just remember that. But again, if you want to connect with the guy and you don't get in his face, because that's how we communicate. And then if he's saying you're always in my face, you are actually always in his face. So be his buddy and go to the shoulder. Okay? So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you. The second thing I wanted to tell you for you to notice is that when you're in the presence of someone, this is specifically important for women who are drivers. So if you have your major personality gift cluster is to be very dominant, maybe you've been called bossy or a bully when you get really pissed off. That's just your personality cluster. That's your gift. We all have different energies. We're either a driver, an influencer, a salt of the earth, or an analytical. And so we all have these energies inside of us, and we have a natural tendency for one or two coming up most often than the other ones. So we might have to work to bring those other things out. So specifically for those who tend to be drivers, the dominant personalities are fiery reds, big visionaries. You know, you don't like a lot of details in projects when you're starting because, you know, you're looking at the big picture. So specifically for these women, you already have a tendency of having your head straight because you mean business. So having a head straight is wonderful because you're letting the person you're speaking to know that you mean business. So you're, you know, you're kind of interested, so you're leaning forward and you're looking at them, and you might even tilt a little bit of your head. Tilting your head down is like, think of it like you're bowing to the person, and so you're showing them interest. The only thing is that sometimes women who tend to have a driver personality, they don't come across as soft or open, and so if they want people to open up to them, they need to do other things with their body language. One of the things that you can do is then tilt your head to the right. Tilting your head to the right is saying that you're open and that you're interested into someone else. Think about it. This is like the puppy. So if you're thinking about puppies, if you're going to buy a puppy, which puppy are you going to buy? The one that's like this and shaking their head back and forth, you know, kind of like tilt when it sees you, like kind of tilts its head like I'm interested, happy, or the dog that looks at you like this. You're not going to buy the dog that looks like this. And so they're not going to buy anything that you have to say if you're looking at them like you're trying to dominate them. Because this is when you open up your eyes, so when you're opening up your eyes and they can see your whole iris, that is actually a very aggressive body language move. And you may be doing it on purpose or not on purpose. And so when you open up your eyes, like, you know, sometimes when someone says something to you and you're like, what did this mofo just say? Or you're surprised or startled, or they're starting to make you angry. See how, do I look pissed off now? Yes, I do, because you can see my whole iris. So to come off softer, you need to lower your lids enough where it's covering, see how it's my natural stance, right? It's covering, let me do this. So it's covering some of my iris, you know, here. You want to purposely bring them down. This is particularly important for women who not only are drivers, but sometimes women when they don't have like a lot of lid up here, right? So their natural eye already looks like this. So they have to work a little bit harder in order for them to come across softer and as a team player. So you need to be able to do that. Recognize, you know, your face is your face, and you can't help the way you look sometimes, but you can help the way your face is going to communicate. So if you don't have much of a lid, practice and bringing the lid down on purpose in order for it to cover some of your iris, and that'll make you appear softer. If you have a natural tendency to be a driver, that's, you know, that's your gift. That's part of your gifts, your giftings. But if you want people, sometimes, you know, I have clients that they're like, you know, they think I'm a bully, they don't want to talk to me, they think I'm unapproachable, and that's because they're always in this stance. So if you can, I'm sorry, like it's like super bright in here, and I'm like not in a good place, so it's coming off all crazy in the lighting. Yes, so if you're a driver and people tell you that you're unapproachable, check your face. You know, actually start being aware of how your eyes are communicating to people. Now, if you tend to be an influencer or a salt of the earth person, and that was also for analyticals now that I think about it. So if you're a salt of the earth kind of person, you know, you're the kind of person that you know who you are. You're the one that maybe you don't feel is recognized by other people because, you know that they need you and they can count on you all the time. And so you're the one who, you know, you're a people person. You want everybody to get along. That's a salt of the earth kind of person. Or an influencer, somebody who loves to tell stories and the life of the party, and they walk in. So your natural tendency is already to have your eyes like this or to tilt your head. But, you know, there are times where you're going to have to pull out your driver. You're going to have to be the driver, and you're going to have to show someone that you mean business. And so for you, you need to pay attention that when you want to show that you are meaning what you say, you keep your head straight. Do not, especially around men, that you want to make sure that they respect you, do not tilt your head. Tilting your head is a form of submission. It's also interest, but since we're talking about, you know, connecting with men, unless you're interested in him, don't tilt your head. Keep your head straight. And you might have a tendency, because I have a tendency to tilt my head because, hi Cecil, I have a tendency to tilt my head because I'm a people person. I'm always interested in what someone has to say. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for chatting with me. Greg, I did not know that Charles Stanley was addressing different skills this morning. How cool is that? Hi, Anna. Thanks for chiming in. Lorraine. So many of you are here. Hey, Gary, how are you, my friend? Ronnie, Cattrall, Cecily. Who else? You're all talking to me and waving. If I missed you, I'm sorry. George, Kyra, thank you so much for being here. Keep on talking to me. So if you're more of my kind of, I'm a personality type, we're in my natural state. I'm a salt of the earth influencer. So I tend to be a double people person. So I'm always, my natural body language is to have people feel comfortable around me. So I naturally kind of go into the stance, and I've had to learn to keep my head straight. You know, that's what they say is, you know, keeping your head straight is a vote of confidence. It is confident, but it's also letting the person know that I mean business. And if I tilt my head forward a little bit, at least they know that I'm interested. Keep my eyes soft, so that way they know I'm not trying to dominate them. Again, opening up your eyes very wide is a form of aggression. So unless you want the man that you're speaking to know that you're aggressive and he needs to back off, or that the words that you're going to be speaking now he really needs to be paying attention to because you're not playing, then you widen your eyes and you move forward a little bit. Like, it's almost like that mom move. Are you listening to me? So that's the other thing I wanted to bring to you as well. Okay, so the first one, just to do a quick recap. If you want to connect with the man, you go shoulder to shoulder, go into that bar buddy move. If you are a driver or an analytical woman, then you want to make sure to open up by tilting your head and moving in a little bit, so that way they know that you're interested. And again, it's that soft bow, right? Because you're acknowledging them, you're honoring them with the tilt forward, saying that you're interested. Now, if you tilt the other way, that's usually, even if my eyes are softer, that means you're how do I want to say that? You're skeptical. You're like, you know, if someone says something to you, you're like, I don't know if what they're telling me is the truth. Your head is going to tilt to the left. So if you want to, on purpose, let someone know in their gut, I don't know if I believe you. My eyes are still soft. My facial expressions are changing though. That's different than, you see a difference? Even my brows change, moving to the left. So those are little things that you can do in order for you to speak to men, especially for women, because I'm doing this for Women's History Month, because, you know, we love to do business with other women. I think we should champion other women. But, you know, a lot of my champions have been men, and then a lot of the people who've been my sponsors have been men, but it's because I've been able to connect with them easily doing some of these things. You know, I want to honor them, but I also have to set good boundaries, right? Like, I'm not one to be played with. I'm not here to play with you. I'm not your next playmate. I'm not looking for that. And so because of my natural tendency to be very open, I might end up sending a mixed signal, or a signal like if I was interested in them as a playmate, when I wasn't. I was just interested in them as a person. And so then I needed to change my body language in order for them to get the point. The other thing that last thing that I wanted to bring to you is that remember the tone in your voice. You know, most of what people are picking up is more than half of it's your body language, and then a huge percentage of it is your tone of voice. And so you can move into your power voice. Your power voice is like about an octave lower than your natural speaking voice. So right now, this is my natural speaking voice. But if I was going to talk to a man, it would be this lower voice at first. And I will hold this for the first 30 seconds when he meets me, because that's my power voice. And then it will naturally go into this higher pitch sound. And so if you want to, and if you look at actually like Oprah Winfrey's interviews from the beginning and then see toward the end, she actually used this power voice in the beginning of her interviews later on in her career. And it's because it really just, like, again, think of it of setting the tone. So the last thing I wanted to bring to you is set the tone. Set the tone with your tone. Set the tone with your power voice. If you're not sure how to find it, you can put your hands on your throat and just go down until you feel a little bassy down here. And you can even hum it. Go, when I'm doing career coaching with teenagers, I'm going to do that in the next couple of weeks, some high schools here in Chicago. You know, I get them singing because sometimes you can't find it, you're not sure, so you have to just go lower and lower, lower until it's comfortable. You know, you don't want to go from something like high and go real low. You're not, it's just a little bit lower and you'll be able to feel it. And when you feel it here, you know that that's where you hold. And then you practice in this tone of voice. So now I can just go down to my tone of voice without having to hold my throat. This is really great if you're going to go on interviewing. It's really great if you're going to go into a networking situation where you're going to meet a whole bunch of people and you want to be taken seriously. Now for women who are drivers, some of them have a naturally pitched lower tone. So you don't want to go lower because you already have that gift. Because you have the gift of being a driver, you probably already have a lower tone in your voice anyway. So for you it might be the opposite, where you might maybe want to speak a little bit higher and just speak, you know, where you can feel it here, not through your nose. You don't want to be nasally, but you know, really the head voice, right? So that's singing stuff, but you'll be able to tell. Like right now I can feel like they're resonating here and here, but I'm very aware of what my body's doing. So if you're not sure, if you're a driver, you probably already have a lower tone in your voice. So you can just practice speaking a little bit lighter. Think a little bit lighter in your voice when you're first meeting someone. You don't have to hold it very long, like 30 seconds, and then you can kind of trail into your natural voice. Again, you're just setting the stage with the tone of your voice. One more thing. This will be your bonus. So when you're shaking someone's hand, this happened to me before. So I was the soccer mom for one of my kids. It's like super bright. I'm sitting in front of the window. This was not a good space for me. I should have checked it before I went on live. Sorry about that. So it's like, then I'm like sitting under lights. It's just too much light. So then it looks cloudy, which is weird. Sorry, I influencer, and then I go, oh, squirrel, what's happening over there? So I was a soccer mom, and there was one of the dads, you know, he was over 6 feet tall. He was like 6'4", 6'6", very athletic. He comes to shake my hand, and he almost like breaks my knuckles. I'm like, what is going on here? So then he grabs my hand, right? So this is how you should shake your hand. Straight, because that means we're equals. And then have your thumb so it's neutral. So what he did was he grabbed my hand and he turned it. So he was giving me like, I'm in charge of you, putting his thumb over and turning my hand. So that's an aggressive move saying, I am over you. That's what that handshake means. So people naturally do that. Just like I talked about in my last live, when people kind of put their nose up at you, we know that phrase because when they're like, oh, they totally put their nose up at me. Because when I do this, I'm letting you know that I think I'm superior to you, right? So just like when they're like, you know, the handshake, you know, they're telling you, I'm dominating you. I'm in charge of you. You know, how the thumb lands. So pay attention when someone shakes your hand. Like, how are they actually having their thumb land, and you know which way they are shaking your hand. So he was shaking my hand. He did that, and then I just looked at him and I turned his hand. And I said, yeah, hi. He kept shaking it, and as I was shaking it, I moved his hand. So now telling him, no, I don't care how big you are, I will get on the chair. And I'm letting you know that I don't feel that you are not over me. You are not my dominator. And then I added in my head, it's going to be a pleasure to kick. And so, you know, you see how girly I am. So, you know, I'm getting there at 9 in the morning. I have my face on already and pigtails and a tank top, and it's all bling. This says Coach on it, of course. And so that season, we ended up whooping him. And so at the end of the season, he called me Coach. But in the beginning, he was acting like he didn't know my name. He knew my name. You know, he even said it wrong on purpose. He tried to dominate my handshake. But at the end, when he shook my hand because I earned his respect by kicking his ass in soccer, what did I get? I got the handshake that was like this, and it was softer in nature. Still firm, because he's a dude, you know? Still firm, but he gave me, we're equals. And that's how I knew for sure that I earned his respect, because he looked down, because he had to. He was so tall, I had to look up at him. But when he shook my hand, it went from, I'm dominating you, you're nothing, to we're equals and I respect you. So pay attention. Pay attention to how people tilt their heads, how they move forward, their eyes. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you can't just take one body language thing. You kind of have to take a whole bunch of things and see what the real story is. Thank you so much, Rosa and Wanda. I appreciate that. It's fun. It's my fun spring hair. You can't tell because the lighting's all crazy here, but it's like a cherry blonde. So, you know, pay attention. Pay attention to how they're shaking your hand. Sometimes people have like a very loose handshake, and that tells you more about their personality type. So that way you can style step and how you're going to language what you want to say to them. You know, you're not changing who you are. You know, everybody says, oh, show up authentically. You know, just show up the way you are. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, you need to build rapport. In order for you to get what you want, you have to build rapport and build it quickly. And what's rapport? Really, all people prefer others reflecting themselves. It's not the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. It is the platinum rule. Treat people the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated, because they may not be your personality gift cluster. What's important to you may not be important to them. And so then you're getting frustrated and connecting with people and not getting sales and not being able to close because you're closing incorrectly. You're speaking to them in the way you like to be spoken to. You're sharing information the way you like to receive information, instead of stepping back and being like, okay, it's really about them. How do I style step my communication to be effective in order for me to deliver the content in a way that they're going to be able to receive it, so that way they can at least bring down the walls enough to hear what I have to say. So if they can't hear what you have to say, you can have the best product or service in the planet. You could have exactly what they have been praying for, begging for, thinking, I really, really need, I wish that, you know, I had this, or I wish, you know, I had this solution, or I'm not sure about this. And then you show up with the answer, and because you're not prepared, you end up missing an opportunity of being a blessing to someone else with your product or services, because you didn't take the time to just stop and just pay attention to the person you're speaking to figure out what is their personality gift cluster and how you can style step your languaging in order for them to hear what you have to say. Remember, your business is the answer people are speaking to, and it's worth the time that you develop these skills, these soft skills, because they're going to eventually make you money. And more importantly, they're going to be nurturing and really creating your current relationships. They're going to get deeper, they're going to be richer, and because they're deeper and richer, you're just going to have more fun. You're going to have more fun, you're going to appreciate them, and the person that you're connecting to, they're going to feel more appreciated and cared about by you, because you have decided to speak to them and love them in a way that they can receive it. It's not the golden rule, it's the platinum rule. Treat other people the way they want to be treated, and one of the ways you can do that is through your body language. I hope that you found this interesting and a little bit fun. Please don't forget to like, comment, and definitely share. And let me know what other kind of communication things that you would like to learn, or any other business tips that you would like me to bring to you. Don't forget that you can check everything that I'm doing as well on my YouTube channel, Your Spiritual Rock. Also my website, yourspiritualrock.com. So those are different ways that you can connect with me. If you're in the Chicagoland area, you can even book me to come in to do like a lunch and learn for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and those are pretty much they're free. I do a lot of those for free. So connect with me if you're in Chicago or in the Chicagoland area. If you want me to come out to your group or your corporation or your church to be able to share some great communication skills or other things, you know, that I do, mindset and things like that, that help people, because you will prosper and be in health as your soul prospers. your mind, your will, and your emotions. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.